Okay, so we will start with the webinar with a very short introduction. Maybe Claude, you can introduce yourself.
I am Claude Moulin. I am emeritus professor at the UTC and belong to the laboratory EDIASIC in computer science.
Thanks, Julien.
So, Julien Bélanger, I'm general manager of Ubikey, the software used in Halle Numérique to improve collaboration.
And Thierry Gidel, myself, I'm a professor at UTC, working on collaboration and methodologies. And so we will start. I'm also the scientific director of the Halle Numérique platform. And we have prepared for this webinar a short presentation of this platform, and with a very short movie to introduce you the site and the platform itself. So we'll start with this short video.
Hi, hello, welcome to UTC, Université de Technologie de Compiègne. We are here at the Innovation Center. In this center there is many platforms, research and teaching platforms. Among those platforms there is Halle Numérique. And let's head inside to visit this platform. Is located in the second floor. There is a room to perform the collaborative work. Let's have a look. The Halle Numérique has 6 platforms, 6 workspaces that are designed to let the people express their creativity. Let's have a look. So this system are designed so that everybody can express their creativity, and what is very important is that the participant could express their idea as soon as they have, as soon as they think of their idea. That's why everyone could work at the same time on the same surface to create new ideas and share their ideas together. These horizontal surfaces are dedicated to this production of ideas. But collaboration also means comparing ideas, putting them together, connecting them, and organizing them. That's why we also use vertical surfaces. On those vertical surfaces, we can arrange the ideas and share their understanding of a problem. It creates back and forth exchanges between the people who build the ideas on the table and the people who organize them on the board. And this design allows the ideas to go back and forth through a system of communication between the vertical surface, the table, and the horizontal surface, the table. Since we are those workspaces are also dedicated to remote collaboration, there are some people remotely who are able to collaborate with the local people using téléprésence robots, for instance. Those platforms are also used for research. We have deployed a system with 4 cameras in each box, and those cameras are also used to capture the working session using a special device, and all the digital trace led by the people could be analyzed after a session to better understand the collaboration process. We are continuously improving Halle Numérique platform. It is much more easy to test it, so you are welcome to come and see a real-life working session in Halle Numérique to explore the different possibilities of using it and of doing research on it.
Okay, thanks. So now that you have had a glance of how the collaboration is implemented in the Halle Numérique and the research topics, I will let Julien present how the main software that was developed by Ubikey company is used to facilitate and to allow the people to work together in those working space.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me well? It's okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Ubikey is a digital visual management software. Its primary aim is to support the rituals that enable you to animate your teams. These lean or agile rituals are traditionally carried out on whiteboards or brown papers because this makes them easier to read, share information, and get teams involved. You will have understood from the previous seconds that Ubikey's main concern is to maintain this dynamic by avoiding the main issue of digital. A project manager or a team leader behind the keyboard and mouse, with the other participant gradually losing their involvement. Ubikey enables you to share information in real time, both face-to-face and remotely, with multiple users on touchscreens, multiple sites, and multiple devices. The advantages of digital technology are numerous: less round trips, easier transmission of information, traceability, and capitalization. Whether you are managing a project, a plant, a department, or a construction site, the objective of visual management are always the same: to identify and analyze gaps and implement corrective actions. Ubikey is just a toolbox to help you to achieve these objectives. So, here I have created a project that tracks production activity, but the same principles apply to all activities that involve synchronizing a team to produce something. In other words, the vast majority of our professional activities. I have created panels to make the project easier to read, grouping the documents by objective. You can follow a production flow or the task of each person with the aim of identifying what is going wrong. You can also monitor indicators and compare them to a nominal situation. Then, when gaps are identified, or more or less complex and methodological problem resolution can be carried out. The aim is to feed into an action plan that will be followed during rituals. Each activity is a subject of a specific document, and Ubikey provides you with a library of methodological support that you can access by clicking on New Document. Here you can see a lot of methodological support that are accessible to Ubikey user, but you can also create your own template if you want. So first of all, to keep track of your team's activity, a board is generally a good solution. It can be a very simple Kanban board in the form of an image on which you place your post-its, and Ubikey board tool, which allows you to represent more complex flows. For example, this Kanban board is just an image on which you can work. So your post-it represents a task or production batch, and you can use the different shapes here, the different colors, dots if you want, in order to represent something, an assignment, an emergency, or a difficulty, for example. The idea is to make the problem visible at first glance. So you can also use the Ubikey board template, which is a little bit more easy to use and more complex. You can use, for example, other information. You can use some enriched field, which are completely customizable additional data that you can associate with the post-it note. So here I have the owner, the ID, the beginning and end dates, for example, a list of possible owner in the project, some list of options, and all these information are kept in the post-its here, for example. And you can also filter this information in order to make things more readable. So you can filter tasks which are late, for example. And when you click here, it will be more readable, in fact. Sorry. For longer term project, you can also use planning Gantt tool, which will enable you to position the task on a calendar and to set up their duration. So it could be useful for long-term project, and you can use this tool if you want. Second point, you can follow. You can use tools to follow your indicators. So you can use a dedicated document to a particular indicators. That is really important for you. For example, I follow this KPI. You can set up objective and some realize if you want. So I can set up to realize that are going to be sum to be compared to the objective. But you can also track numeric or color indicators that you can add to any documents. For example, here I have a table of indicators with a realize and a minimum and a maximum objective. So if I am in the middle of the minimum and the maximum objective, I am green. If I have a result that is more than the maximum objective, it will be red. Here I have some colors indicators that I can set up too. So I have chosen 3 different options, and this is a calendar view of this indicator. Ubikey also provide you a wide range of problem-solving tools. So 5Y, PDCA, A3. Remember that you can also create the template that suits your needs. So as mentioned before, the main aim of the previous activities was to identify gaps and imagine associated corrective actions. The result could be an action plan that needs to be followed up. Here again, everything depends on the time scale. A Gantt, like this one, will enable you to manage long-term action, while a weekly board, like this one, follow-up during each ritual will enable you to be more precise. So this is an example of template created on Ubikey. So you can have some action here with a backlog here, and indicators if you want. You can count action, you can filter this action, and here is the main functionality of Ubikey. Another advantage of digital technology mentioned earlier is the traceability of your visual management and even the possibility of capitalizing on what has been done previously. So Ubikey offers complete archiving mechanism with tag, search, view, and restore system. So you can search for information here. You can restore document. You can view the document if you want. This will enable you to keep the project page concise and up to date while preserving the history of what the team has achieved. So many thanks. And I think that we will be happy to answer your question.
We are going to answer the different question. You can ask a question directly to the chat. So let's have a look at the questions. So where is the first question here for you, Julian? The question is, how can one achieve this level of expertise with Ubikey software? Apparently it seems a bit complicated when you look at all the possibilities.
Sorry if it seems to be complicated, because I want to show you a lot of functionalities, but usually our customers are familiar with methodologicals like lean management, visual management, or problem solving. So in this case, a 90 minutes session with the users is enough to master the various functionality of Ubikey.
Oh, yes. I think Julien made a very important point here, because as here in UTC we are training the students for new methodologies. We know that usually it takes much more time to learn the methodology itself than to learn how to use the Ubikey. In fact, for our students here in UTC, we just make a 5 minutes training session of using the software, and then they have to learn how to use the method itself, which is takes much more times. Okay. There is another question. In terms of business, which kind of customer are you addressing, if any?
Our customers generally follow production flow on plants to improve their process and to manage their production activities. But we also have some customers in the construction sector for planification, on the services team to synchronize people, and also on agile team to monitor their developments. So the main point is that Ubikey is really able to adapt to your own needs. So every business can use Ubikey, in fact.
And there are other questions. One question is, how do company manage to convince their employees to adopt the digital tools?
This is a very good question, because when we work in a plant, we work with people who are not very familiar with technology. So first of all, we have to convince them that digital solution is a good solution for them. We can first of all speak about the ability to access their visual management everywhere and at any time, which is a very important functionality for them. We can also think about the ways they can filter the information, search for information. This is much more efficient than a visual management. But none of this argument will be important and efficient if the tool is too complex to use. So we make a focus when developing Ubikey on this subject, and the way Ubikey is easy to use, more in the touch screen, it is really important because we work with people who don't have facilities with a computer, and so it's important to be very easy to use.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's true that here in UTC we are using it more for design, problem solving, creativity. But I know that you're also you have a lot of customers who are using it on the work floor workshop where they produce the goods and to analyze their productivity and solve a small problem on the workflow.
And it's not so easy to be efficient with people who are very fond of technology and people who are not very easy with this kind of technologies.
There is also a question with regard to the mobile phone user. Whether it's Android or iOS, are they able to use? So I will just when you can make the answer, and I will start connecting my phone.
In fact, we think mobile phones are as a solution to send information in the visual management. In fact, we continue looking at to a very big board with a lot of post-it notes on the smartphone. So we use the smartphone to produce ideas, to send pictures to the visual management. And for example, it's very important for a customer in a plant when they have a problem of quality or a problem of security. They want to take pictures and to send it to the visual management to be much more easy to understand. And so with a phone, an iPhone or an Android phone, you can scan the QR code and send information to the board. So for example, Thierry take a picture and send it to the board, and it's really useful for people to create ideas. In fact, in RIALHE Numérique, you have some touch table, but my customers usually don't have this kind of technology, so they use the smartphone to produce ideas and to send it to the board.
Yeah, so in fact the Ubikey software can be used individually on your own computer, only using a web browser. But it's very useful if you just think of an idea, then you can use your computer, your smartphone to just send this idea to someone somewhere on your project, and this allows the people to use either a photo like I just done, taking a photo, or using an information from coming from anywhere in the company. So it allows continual digital usage of the software, whether you are at your own desk working on your laptop, or if you are somewhere and you just want to send a photo or an idea. So there are some other questions. It says, first, really nice intro video and informative presentation. Thank you. I have a question regarding evaluation of traditional ways using pen and paper board and using RIALHE Numérique platform. Is there improvement in collaborating using Ubikey, and what are the way of evaluating this?
This is a double question. I think that there is a question for me and for Thierry, because this is an important subject of research for him. So I am going to give some answers. Ubikey is a digital solution. It will give you some new tools. in front of a pen and paper traditional solution. So I speak about the ability to connect to its visual management everywhere and at any time. We can speak about the way you can search for information, you can filter information, and it will improve, in fact, your visual management because it will be more readable than a traditional visual management. But it also raise some difficulties to take the software to master the software, in fact, the functionality of the software. And it's really often that we have some improvement due to digitalization and more complex situation due to digitalization. But I let Thierry answer this question.
Yeah, so what we have realized, because it's part of the study in our lab, is that when we are using technology, it modifies the way we think, the way we work, and also the way we learn how to perform the task. For instance, before we trained the students using pen and paper for making drawings, using China ink with special paper and they had to think about a new product in 3D and designing in 2Ds. Now we use a computer aided design, and it modified totally the way they design objects and the way they think about the design process. And it's the same when you are using this board and table. It modifies the way we are doing creativity. It modifies the way we are doing problem solving, because it's modified the configuration of the collaborative work. In fact, traditionally, we were using paper boards, and only one person had the possibility to write on this paper board or on a classical board. Here, as soon as someone has an idea, they can input their ideas, whether using the table or using their smartphone or tablets. And it's very important for collective intelligence to allow as much as possible all the people to input their ideas as soon as they have one. And also the way they organize the information on the board. Also, of course, the fact that some people remotely can access and modify the board together with the team. So we are seeing this, and we were able to see that, for instance, to give a few insights of precise data, that when we are using the digital tools, the participation were more equally distributed among the people using the digital system, and it was not the case when they were using paper and pen. So this is a very important insight, saying that collective intelligence is better used when we are using the digital tools. And also, of course, as Julien said, there is also many other aspects, like capitalization, like facility to start and stop a project using the same room for different projects. And it's very important for us, as we are in a university. We need to be able to for each group to find their own project, which was not the case when we were using pen and paper. It was much more complicated. Do not hesitate if you want some more insight on that. There is another question concerning project management. Do you have some advertising or assignment mechanism? Does Ubikey connect and integrate well-known project management tools such as Microsoft Project, Trello, or Jira?
In fact, as I mentioned before, we have a solution of enriched field for post-it notes, which enable you to assign a task to somebody. And when you use it with the filter option, you will be aware of the task that you have to do. We don't have any advertising. We don't send notification or something like that. But usually our customers go to Ubikey every day in the morning, and they have a dashboard to list their own tasks, and they are regarding this every day. Concerning integration, we have a native integration with Jira because it's really important for agile teams, for example. And we also have import and export option in Ubikey, so you can batch import some post-it note from an Excel file. You can also export the data of Ubikey in PDF or image format, and also in Excel file to have the complete information of your activity. And we will produce some native integration in the next few months, because we have an API, and it is quite easy to develop this integration if needed.
Okay, thanks. Yes, this digital continuity and integration of the different software is something important. And as you said, now it's a new way of working, and people are using on a day-to-day basis, so they are fully aware and integrated in this system. So we have some other questions with regard to how are these tools used for research learning in the RIALHE project. So in the RIALHE project, there is a special process which so the RIALHE project is dedicated to learn how to do research. So it's to do research, we have to learn how to do research, we have to do research. And to do research, we identify 3 different phases. The first phase is the phase where we identify the research problem, we define the hypothesis, and then we define the experiment protocol. For instance, at the moment, we have some group of students working on powder, and they identify a specific powder. They read the literature, they define which characteristic of this powder they need to improve, and then they have a presentation of different equipments where they can do some experiments, and they design the experiment protocol. This work is done in the Halle Numérique. Then they have to shift to the lab itself, where they prepare the material for the experiment, conduct the experiment, and then they gain some information, some data. And when this data is collected, it has to be prepared, analyzed, and then published. And then they go back from the lab to the Halle Numérique to prepare the data, analyze the data, and give insight on the research results. So the characteristics of the powder they have analyzed, we're using microscope or different equipment. So that's the way it is done in the RIALHE projects. There is some question with regard to the you have answered some of it. Which industry benefits the most from using Ubikey?
I already give some information on it, but if you were, so you understand that industrial activities are our main customers, but we also have some customer in construction activities for planification, in the services for team synchronization, And in fact, in every activities in which we have to synchronize team, and in fact, it is nearly all activities.
Yes. And as I said, in UTC, we are using it a lot for engineering work, problem solving, and designing, creativity, and new project management. A question with regard to the cost. What is the cost of implementing Ubikey in an organization?
So the primary the cost of Ubikey is based per user and per year. So we have to think about your project and to optimize cost. But keep in mind, it depends. It really depends on the number of users. But keep in mind that the average of Ubikey user is about 200 euros per year and per user, about.
Another question is, what feedback have users given after using Ubikey? Do you have some feedback from users?
Yes, this is really important for a company to have feedback from their users. So we can think about several things, because you send us a question before about the way we can measure the advantage of Ubikey in front of a paper solution. It is the main question, in fact. So we can imagine that the subject is to improve collaboration, to have better ideas, and in fact we have some feedbacks about this. But some of customers are really search for very miserable improvement. So we can think about the less round trips in the plant, the meeting which will be shorter and more efficient. And the ability to manage easily these meetings, which are daily meetings. So it's really important for a customer to improve it.
So with regard to our experiment and our work, we have continuously monitoring how the user use the devices with the cameras and with the digital trace. And now we know that with regard to using the horizontal surface, the vertical surface, and the new methodology associated to this device is quite clear, and there is no doubt about the added value of such devices. But there is still some new questions that are always raised with regard to how to input the data, for instance, using a digital keyboard. So we are continuously working on those interfaces and the way we can make co-evolution of the methodology and the digital tools. Specifically with regard to the project, a RIALHE project, where the students used the different systems. They were quite happy to use it during the initial phase, where they frame the research question, when they identify the hypotheses and construct their protocols. We can, in those cases, really identify that it was very important to foster new ideas and to create good protocols to have this collaborative work on those different spaces. This also was very interesting to see how this device plays a capital role in capitalization of the information, especially when you have a long project with several steps. The user want to go back to each steps. So the capitalization was also an important aspect. In that case, we also use the video systems. So we allow the student to go back to different video to monitor the different steps of their preparation. And it was interesting to see that. Some results of those research will be presented in International Congress, Computer Software Collaborative Work in Design, which will be held in Compiègne in May, CSCWD. So there is another question, just out of curiosity. How can we download plugins for Ubikey for some collaboration games or for some format similar to SWOT?
So as mentioned before, you have a library of what we call template, which is a board. In fact, in Ubikey, and we are convinced that we will never be able to give all the templates you need. So we have created the ability to create your own templates. So it's really easy to use. You can use a PowerPoint, for example. You can create your template. You can save it as a PDF and put it in the back of the board. So you will be able to have your own template. But we also think about the ability to share a template between an organization. Because it's really important for our customers, because they want to have the same visual management for every teams, and the sharing of this template is very important. So we are going to create this option of a shell library too. I hope that it will answer the question.
And just to make Julien just presented different templates used by companies to monitor the production process and to solve a problem in production. There is many templates that have been created with regard to design process, value analysis, and all the different steps of the design process, so that the professors in design have developed those kind of templates. Of course, there is also the professor in project management who have developed templates with regard to agile project management or classic project management with Gantt charts and this. And the professor in quality management, Lean, also have developed templates with regard to risk management, risk analysis, causal analysis, process evaluation, CPOC, and all these kind of Lean project Ishikawa. And of course, the professor also in strategy, you were talking about the SWOT, the SWOT canvas, but also the business model canvas, also the different canvas that are used in business. And each, in fact, professor have developed this kind of canvas models. And what is interesting is that they often modify the way they teach using the different canvas. For instance, sometimes starting from a very linear text-based presentation, they can present, for instance, a clarification notes or a project charter using different areas, and it modifies the way the student think about the project, because sometimes when you are doing a project, you can start thinking about the deliverables, or you can start thinking about the objectives, or you can start thinking about the actors. So each participant have different view of the project, and they can this digital system allow to adapt to each preferences from each participant, which is very important to have a good production. Okay, I think we have answered all the questions. I go back in my timeline of questions to make sure that I've not skipped anything that I've received. So unless there is a last question, I think we have answered hopefully all the question today. Do not hesitate to contact us if you want to try the system or if you want to have more insight on the way we are using these devices. Claude is coming back, so I think if there is no other questions, we'll tell you see you next time. And thank you for attending to this webinar.